in Tobago, okay? And we met. The heavens opened up. The angels started to sing. And in a big room, there were over 2,000 people in our conference room. In the hotel, there had to be over 20,000. And because God knows us by name, He knows us by faces, and He knows what He wants to do with our lives, He just so happened to allow me to bounce up this gentleman in the line. And 10 years, 11 years later, I call him Mr. Henry, my husband. Let's hear it for Mr. Henry. Yes, yes. Wonderful. So it is without further ado that I would like to thank our sponsors. You know, in order for us to put together an event of this magnitude, listen, it requires a lot of support. I am one of the minor players in this grand scheme. And so some of the people who have allowed you to get nice gifts in your gift bags and also nice gifts that we'll be giving out throughout this event. So listen out for your name because we're going to be drawing from a bag and choosing some of you to get some special prizes. And so one of those is Touch and Go Beauty. And that's a new beauty bar. Who likes to get their hair done? Yeah? Who likes to get their nails done? Who likes to get just glamorous every now and then? Yeah? Sometimes you do the glam on your own, and other times you want somebody else to do it. Clearly, me this morning, I needed Ella to glamorize my look because it was challenging. But she got me all the way together. What do y'all say? Where my girls? Girls of Grace? She clocked the They were trying to teach me slang like at 9 o'clock last night. I'm like, y'all should have did that 2 months ago, and then I could be on cue. But they did teach me this. Clock it. Yeah. They taught me to clock it. I need the nails, though, right? Anyway, if you want your look to be glamorized from the inside out, Touch and Go Beauty will do that for you. So in each of your bags, we have given you a gift voucher so that you get a percentage off, meaning you're going to save some money when you go to them. They're located in San Fernando. It's not hard to miss. Anyone know where San Fernando is? So right across the street from Stackhouse, there is a lovely beauty salon who did my hair. They do my nails. They just take care of me, and you're going to be able to get taken care of as well once you use your gift voucher. The next sponsor that we have is Santa. Anybody go to Santa in San Fernando? Well, guess what? They gave some nice gifts inside of your bag, so we appreciate Santa for donating those items. Listen, not only did people give items and money, but they also gave their time. And so I just want to celebrate our servant leaders for a moment. Those of you who have volunteered, come. I want you to get your flowers. Let's clap for them as they come on the stage. You know who you are. Come. I need you here. They have given their time, their talent, and their treasure to make this event possible. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Lana, I think I need my mic turned up a little louder because I need them to show my team some love. And this is just part of my team. You all would have gotten the registration taken care of by some very special people as well. Listen, I love the fact that when you serve, guess what? God will always make a way for you. So that's tip number one, right? The more you serve and the more you're willing to give of yourself, guess what? God is always going to reward a faithful servant. In the scripture, he even proves this. Don't take it from me. He said that if you want to be great, be the greatest servant. That's a tip. So if ever in your life, come on, let's welcome our volunteers. If ever in your life you're feeling stuck, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling like life is just lifing, find a place where you can serve and give of yourself because God is going to give you more than what you have lost or more than what you've asked for. So thank you all very much. I want to just step back and appreciate you all. On behalf of myself, my husband, the Key of David International, and all of these girls and their families, we value you, we appreciate you, and we thank you for your service. Wonderful. All right, let's clap for them as they take their seats. Thank you so much. And there were some servant leaders who I didn't get a chance to come to the stage because they are a part of Glambition, but it's really their partnership. They spent late nights and early mornings decorating the place, even preparing some of your food. So my girls of grace, could you just stand for a moment? You can stand where you are. We want to appreciate you. Serena, Destiny, come to the front. Serena, Destiny, Jewel, Anaya, come quickly. Thank you all so much for all that you do. So when your bellies are full after this conference, know that these girls help put that together. All right. Oh, we're going to pose for a picture? You know I'm the shortest one, so y'all got to kind of fit. All right, y'all ready to get started? Awesome. So I have the privilege and the pleasure of bringing to you some dynamic women, and each of them are bosses in their own right, but I'm going to share with you a little bit of their background, okay? So these women have come from near and far to be with you today. The first one, she has a passion for fashion and style. She is, yes, let's clap for that. Listen, she's a certified image consultant and style coach of the CMMA group. Her name is Candace Monique Magalore. I said it right. Yes, there she is. Wave, yes. Listen, she is so committed to helping individuals just like you transform their personal style into a signature image. She's going to be sharing with us how to look your best and feel your best. If you would please clap your hands for our first panelist as she comes to the stage. Candace, come and take your seat. Following right behind her is another dynamic woman that you'll see on the screen. And she specializes in marketing. So all things marketing, event planning, it's been her life for the past 20 years. And she's equipped with a plethora, which means a whole lot, of branding and business skills. So if you need something related to branding and business, she's your girl. And I'm talking about none other than Lyriel Cole-Pierre. Let's hear it for her. Wonderful. Our next panelist coming up, and I love to say, actually not panelists, because I don't believe in just them being panelists, but I believe in them being mentors. So our next mentor, she's a transformational speaker and purpose-driven entrepreneur. She even has a very cool facility in San Fernando called Purpose Spaces. So if you've ever wanted to go somewhere outside of Starbucks to do your homework or anything, check out our next speaker because her spot is really legit. So she is a purpose-driven entrepreneur from the inside out. Her background is in human resources management, and she also wrote the book Purpose Diaries. And she uses that to transform and empowers entrepreneurs to know that their purpose can be a part of their profitable business. Let's hear it for our next speaker, Prisha Sarah Bowen. Yes. All right. Our next mentor is Prudence Williams Laborde. I got it. She's a success coach and author of the beautiful, well, she's an author, and of course she's a homegrown girl from Trinidad and Tobago, all right? Her background is in human resources management as well. She is also a certified Six Sigma black belt with the American Society for Quality. She's got some credentials, y'all, all right? And, you know, this young woman, she's also considered passionate Prudence. And it's because she demonstrates her love of people, not just by her words, but really helping them with life plans. How many of you got some goals in your life? Listen, our next panelist, she's gonna help you to accomplish those goals. She has not only done it herself, but she's written the book, The Everyday Leader, Becoming the Best Version of Yourself Daily and having a Grateful Heart. It's a 12-week journal, that's going to allow you to grow and glow into the woman that you were designed to be. Let's hear it for our next mentor, Prudence Williams-Laborde. All right, and our next wonderful, glamorous panelist today, who, by the way, also did my makeup. I'm going to keep plugging you, so you got to get used to it. She is 31 years old. She was born in Trinidad, and she's based in Arima. She is a freelance MUA. Anyone know what MUA stands for? Yes, makeup artist. That was a bonus. And I think I heard that from a guy. Oh, gosh. She's also a contract coordinator at the Piarco International Airport, and she's a mother of 2 beautiful children. Please help me welcome to the stage Daniela Ramroop, also known as Ella. Wonderful. And last but certainly not least is one of our mentors who actually holds a very special place in my heart because we met in a room like this, and we ended up doing life together in some very strategic ways. This young lady has not only born and grew up, as we see in Trinidad, born and grew up here, but her life's work has taken her to far and wide places. She has done concerts at Carnegie Hall, and she works with young people just like you, but on the other side of the world, so to speak, in America. Our next panelist has come all the way from the United States for you today. Let's hear for her. Let's hear for Jolander as she comes to the stage. Jolander Headley. Yes. And let me put some respect on Dr. Jolander's name, okay? Because you don't get that just because. She has worked for her credentials, and we thank God for each and every one of you for being here today. And let's kick things off. Are y'all ready? Wonderful. All right. So, today's panel discussion is all about becoming who you are as a young lady. And so I want this to be super interactive. I have a couple of questions prepared, but I want you to also start thinking about some questions that you may have for these beautiful women as well. Are y'all ready? So my first question to our lovely guests, and you all can feel free to answer. I see you have your mics. My question is, if you could share one piece of advice that you wish someone gave you when you were their age, what would that be and why?
Hi. Yes? All right. Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with each of you. Such an amazing question to kick off the panel discussion with, because we've all been there where we're young, we're impressionable, we're different, and we often wonder, why am I different? And I think if it were one piece of advice, it's off? Oh. One piece of advice I would give my younger self is to lean into your uniqueness. There is a reason why you're different. There's a reason why you don't look the same, you don't sound the same, you don't dress the same, because those uniqueness is your unique stamp in this world. And it's those differences that will actually set you apart and guide your way moving forward. So lean into those differences. Don't desire to fit in. I know that's difficult, but I would say don't desire to fit in. Stand out and be unique. Lean into that uniqueness, because that's going to be your secret sauce to navigate this world.
I love that. Lean into who you are. Don't change a thing, because that's what's going to make you stand out. Thank you so much. And I actually want all of our panelists to answer this question, so get your answers ready.
Hey guys, just to piggyback on what she said, my story is a bit something that most girls go through, or some would stigmatize. So at the age of 16 years old, why I would say don't yeah, be unique. At a very young age, I had to be a mom, and I thought that my life would have been over there. And going through that challenge, that stigmatizing everything, it grew me to who I am today. Because ever since I was young, I always had this passion for fashion. And if I had just give up and say, wait, boy, my life over, where would I be today? Right? So don't give up. The sky is the limit.
I love that. Do not give up, no matter what life throws your way. Yeah, let's hear for that response. Your journey is now starting, and even when you're 50, and even when you're 60, you're still got some life left, okay? And where there is life, there is hope. Thank you, Ella.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's certainly a delight to be with you, and I am excited. I'm honored to be in this seat because I feel that I understand what's in the room, because I sat there in your seat at one point. And so thank you for the question, because I think the younger version of myself, I would say to that version of myself, to surround yourself with purpose and not popularity. Because I thought at one point when I was in your seat, it's very important, and which maybe it is, because relationships are important. But what I didn't understand was my purpose. So at that point, it was more important to me to make sure that I am, around people who might kind of like me and want to be, in that group kind of thing. But when I understood my purpose, it shifted everything for me. And so if I were to speak to myself at your age, I would say, Jolanda, surround yourself with purpose and not popularity.
Absolutely love that. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm happy to be here as well. And what I would say is, it's a little story, right? It happened to me a couple weeks ago. I like wearing white nails, and I was eating curry. And anybody know curry and white nails, they kind of don't go together, right? And I was teaching a class, and I keep seeing this nail was yellow. And I keep saying, y'all seeing that? Y'all seeing that? But nobody was seeing it. I was the only one that was seeing it. When I pointed it out to them, then they started to see it. And I would tell my younger self, stop pointing out your flaws, because nobody really notices. Start living in the place of your truth, of your purpose, and don't be like my yellow curry nails. But instead, focus on everything else that you are. Sometimes we zero in on those little faults that nobody else notices anyway. Play up those strengths, live from that place, and walk in that place.
That's right. Walk in your strengths, because guess what? You are unique. No one has exactly what you have. Listen, the world was missing such a big part of what you contribute. That's why God made you. He looked at the world and said, it's missing a Daffy. That's your name? It's missing an Adafi. It's missing a Gabriella. It's missing a Faith. Listen, I can name all your names because I've met many of you before, but the world was missing you, so that's why God created you. That means that no matter what life throws your way, who says what about you, your life has purpose, or else you wouldn't be here.
Good morning, everyone. So thank you again, Chantal, for having me, and great to be a part of the wonderful panelist. So one thing I would tell my younger self is to really tap into not only your individuality as a person, but also your skills. In the Bible, it says that your gifts is going to make room for you. And that is what is going to set you apart from everyone else. As Chantal said, and as all the panelists would have made mention, is that you are unique, you are special, you have something to work towards, and you are actually building towards your purpose, your God-given purpose. You have to understand what that is. So once you tap into that early, you start to build the foundation of understanding where you are going to grow, how that is going to manifest, and how that leads and lends into your purpose. So one thing I would tell myself, we learn this later in life, and because you all are young girls, you all have the benefit of tapping into our experiences and really adopting that into your longer life, so that you are wiser, you are better, and you are more informed than we were. So tap into that, develop your skills, and the sky's the limit.
Wow, let's hear for that response. You've already got everything that you need on the inside of you. It's just that you've got to be willing to share it with the world. So thank you for that.
So good morning, everyone, again. So as everybody was speaking, I'm like, darn, I wanted to say that. But that is important, right? Because you're seeing a common theme. And what I would tell my younger self, because at a young age, 14, that coming of age type of age group, 14 to 17, I had a lot of insecurities. And at that age, you like a particular boy, or you care about how you look, and you want to have the shoes and the clothes that everybody is wearing. Yeah. And then, if you had a dad like mine, who was quite frugal, it was a big fat no. So I had a lot of insecurities, and I always wanted to follow the crowd. But what I would tell my former self looking back, and it's in my book, is that you are your brand. You are uniquely you, and there is nobody like you. When God created you, he created you for a purpose. And as everyone would have echoed, we are not the same. Because if we were all the same, it would have been a little boring. The world would have been boring. So remember that you are special. Yes. God placed you on earth for a purpose. And here's a hack, a tip. The things that you actually like and that you're passionate about, it's tied to your purpose. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise and question why you like the things you like, because it's tied to your divine purpose.
I love that. So as you can see, let's clap it up for that answer. So as you've heard from many of our panelists, you've been hearing some common themes about purpose and your uniqueness and your pursuits in life. You can see all of these married together, right? So on that same light, I want us, because this is Glambition after all. So Glambition is a combination between being glamorous, but also being ambitious. And so I want to actually bring up this idea about how we look and why it's important that we represent ourselves on the outside like we feel on the inside. Wait, y'all telling the inside joke without me? So I want to actually toss this question over to Candace, which is, what if I don't feel confident in anything that I wear? I just feel like my body was made wrong. I feel out of place. Like, what would you say to a girl who's feeling like that?
How did I know you were going to start with me? Oh, my God. Now, first of all, before I even answer that question, is that when you started, you indicated that about your image and how it is important to represent yourself. Now, the thing is that your image is a silent communicator. So before you even open your mouth to speak, your image is actually speaking for you. That's how perceptions are formed. So the clothes that you put on, how you wear your hair, etc., that actually is actually sending out messages to each and every one in your respective environments, right? To answer Chantal's question, in that, how do you feel confident you don't like your body shape? You have to tap into that mindset. And you have to shift that mindset into understanding, why don't you like how it is you look? What are those key factors that, speak to your individuality? And how do you shift your mindset so that you can transition yourself into loving the person and the you are now, because that is going to shape how it is you present yourself to persons when you enter a room, whether you go to church, whether you go hanging out with your friends, you lime with the girls, or for us panelists, how it is we introduce ourselves to each other, right? So it's important to understand where those nuances and those insecurities, thanks, L'Oreal, those insecurities are coming from, so that you can deal with it, so that you can start, because, dressing comes not only from clothes, it actually comes from the inside, right? It actually is a representation of your personality characteristics. So what's in the inside is actually going to show up on the outside. This is just accessory to who you are and how it is you represent yourself. So we are going to deal with all those, as Lyria said, the insecurities, deal with that, figure out what is causing that, deal with that, and then we start to build in terms of the confidence, then we start to build in terms of the type of looks that you want to wear, or how it's going to actually accentuate your personal characteristics, and then you start to create that signature image that is identifiable to you. I hope that answered the
No,
question.
that did. That was a very thorough answer. And so we're seeing that long before we even wake up to put on the clothes, there has to be some work that happens on the inside. And I don't know what your faith is, Anaya, or what you believe in, or what keeps you going outside of your mother or your father or anyone in your life speaking life into you or taking it away. I don't know that. But what I do know is that you have to be responsible. Somebody say, I am responsible. I am responsible for watering the seed that God planted on the inside of you, right? Because not all of us come from environments where people are encouraging us. Not all of us come from environments that we enjoy, right? I believe that some of you are here because you're trying to get some answers to questions about your life. You don't have to raise your hand, but I'll raise it for you, right? You want to know why you and why now. Why are we pouring into you? And so I want to toss this question over to Krisha regarding purpose, right? Because if the work has to be done on the inside first, then it starts with us knowing who God created us to be. So my question to you is, what if I'm scared to dream because everything that I see around me is hopeless? What would you say to a girl who's feeling that way?
I would say that environment matters, right? So I remember putting myself in uncomfortable spaces in rooms like this, because normally when we get into rooms like this, sometimes we tend to shrink, be shy, you start to feel awkward, but it is in rooms like this that it stretches your ability to dream. You can only dream as far as your exposure. So sometimes you have to deliberately put yourself in uncomfortable situations and spaces because we avoid those. So for me to discover purpose, people always say, how do I find my purpose? You don't find your purpose because it's not lost. It's already there. Purpose is awakened. So it's kind of an excavation process. Rooms like this, you get to see people who mirror who you are. So you pay attention to, why is this person inspiring me? Why am I looking at them and I'm drawn to them? I'm drawn to them because it's a mirror. It shows me exactly what's inside of me, and it reflects. So if you think that, okay, in my environment, I don't feel pushed, I don't feel driven, be intentional about putting yourself in spaces that make you uncomfortable, that challenges your intellect. You should not know everything that they're speaking about. You should have to Google it. You should have to find a dictionary. You should have to go look some stuff up. Because it is in that exposure that you begin to dream. I think if my mother didn't say at 17 years old, I'm going to send my daughter on a plane to the U.S. to go to college with no one, never flew to the U.S. before, and it was very new, very different, very strange. But I think that exposure made the dreamer in me come out. Yes. So you don't have to get on a plane, but there are rooms, there are spaces, there are people that will bring out that dreamer in you. So if any one of us say anything today and you feel that tug and that pull, that's purpose calling. Pull us to the side. Say, you know what? When you said this, I felt a tug. I felt a pull. That's why we are here, not just to give you a mirror, but to activate something on the inside of you. So if you are that person that is hiding or your environment is not inspiring you, you have the environment today.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's hear for that answer. Now, remember, I told you all that we didn't put on our heels today and our nail polish just so that you could see us. No, we want you to feel us. We are here for you. We came for you. And because of that, we want to hear from you. So if I could have someone in the audience who has a mic, Nicholas or Male. Okay. They're going to bring a mic to you. I want someone to stand and ask a question. And remember, we like to give out gifts. So All right, here's what we're going to do. If your name begins with a D, it's your turn to ask a question. And I know names. Disha? Is Disha in the building? Padmore? Ah, Destiny. Listen, I have a very nice gift to give out. So, who wants a gift? Y'all like gifts? Raise your hand if you like gifts. Ah, nobody likes gifts today. Who raised their hand and like gifts? Okay, stand up. Go ahead. Let's clap for her. Wonderful. And when you get the mic, please tell us your name and your age and ask your question. I know the mic is so heavy when it's in your hand, isn't it?
Okay, so my name is Kaylee.
Everybody say hi, Kaylee.
Hi. I am 15 years old, and I would also like to be a makeup artist. So, I think I need like some ideas on how I can start.
Beautiful. Great question. Yes. Let's clap for Kaylee. Thank you for being so brave. So Ella, that question is for you. How do you start a business as a freelance makeup artist, or if someone wants to take it full time?
First of all, you need to find out what about makeup you like. So for me, I actually didn't think that I would have done makeup because I just like creating stuff. So when I was 8 years old, I actually developed the love for creating. So I used to sit in my room with a book and a pencil and just draw. So like I would draw cool stuff, and then that lead on to when I entered secondary school. So when we would have time to go like to art, I would go and I would paint, but I realized, I really like this, you know. I want to do something. And then later on in my life, when I worked with the customer service at the airport, that was where I discovered I love makeup. So we had this manager that used to come to say, you're dealing with customers, you'll need to wear makeup. But I didn't like makeup because I was tomboyish.
How many of you here hate makeup? You just don't like it? Okay. Our future makeup artist does not like makeup. That's so funny.
So I was really a tomboy back then. And I started to explore. I started to look at videos. I started to just type up random things. And then I would see, because I never did any type of course. I would have practiced on myself, practiced on people. I didn't even have the right products. People used to say, "Give what craziness you doing?" But it's just you need to figure out what about makeup you like and what type of makeup you want to pursue.
That's excellent. Thank you for that. Let's clap for that response from Ella. So figure out what you like and then be willing to try different things, right? And it doesn't have to be on you personally because you don't like makeup, but I'm sure. How many of you would tell me your name again? Kaylee. How many of you would let Kaylee do your face? Your eyebrows, your lip gloss, something. I know I would, yes. So you can just put a post on Facebook and say, hey, I'm doing, what do you guys call it? Models? I'm looking for models, right? And I'm sure some of your classmates or friends would want you to do their makeup, and that's when you start to build your portfolio, being willing to try.
New thing.
So thank you so much. I want to actually pivot just a bit and ask this question because I know when I was growing up, there were some times when people saw things in me that I really couldn't see in myself. And I don't know if it was because I suffered with a lack of confidence in some areas or because my environment was just ghetto. That I didn't really, see business owners. I didn't see anyone on TV. Like, I didn't see what people saw in me. Like, oh, you can speak very well in this type of thing. So I didn't all the way believe what they saw in me. And so my question, actually to you, Jolander, is what do you say to a young girl who maybe she gets compliments from her teacher or she may hear from her pastor or somebody in her life that's saying, like, you can be something one day. You've got so much potential, but there's this cognitive dissonance, that's a fancy word for it just ain't sitting right with you. What would you say to that girl to say, you know, people are saying this for you for a reason.
Yeah, that's a really good question because so much has to do, well, what I discovered, I can only speak from my experience, right? So what I discovered is that so much had to do with issues that I had in my childhood that I didn't address.
Tell us about some of those.
And so,
if you don't mind.
Oh no, I don't. I don't mind because I've been healed, and so when I speak about it now, I speak from a place of victory and not as a victim.
Yes.
So I am just grateful for the journey. In fact, my workbook speaks to a framework that I even developed out of because of the woundings and the experiences that I had had before I became the leader that I am right now. I had to deal with the healing. And then the development, and then understanding how I was even wired and walking into certain, spaces of self-awareness that I didn't know before. So, I had to deal with my past of spaces where I felt insecure, and spaces where not only did people fan the flame because they identified the good in me, but I also had to deal with maybe spaces where comments were made to me that were deflating, and I didn't realize the impact it had on my soul.
How many of you have been told something that affected you emotionally? How many of you? I want us to know that we're not alone, right? So many of you have been talked about. You've been bullied. You've been talked down to. And we've been there before, so thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah, and I've been through that at different phases, different ages. I can remember from 8 years old, I had to deal with issues of trust being broken, where, I trusted someone I loved and trusted someone I thought this was an aunt of mine, and I was betrayed. And from that moment, for me, it scarred me so deeply that it was difficult for me to trust again. But how can you lead when you can't trust? And so I literally had to deal with the issues of my past. I was 8 years old. And even as a teenager, that was a completely different story because good for you, my sister, that you went to America and you probably found your space and place as soon as you got there. That wasn't the case for me. That wasn't the case to me. When my parents decided to migrate to America, I thought I was having a good enough life here as a younger teenager, and I had my community that loved me, a place where I felt I belonged. And then suddenly my parents wanted to move to America. I was uprooted from my comfort zone into a space of uncomfortability and having to adjust to becoming a nanny, doing different things that I didn't want to do before I could actually start my educational journey and to become who I am today. So, yeah, for me, it's really having to go back to those places where I was wounded, not even realizing in the moment how it affected my journey, but just spaces of reflection, going back and addressing it. See, you can't heal what you won't admit.
You cannot heal what you don't admit.
Yeah, so I had to find myself in that space of being out of denial and naming it, because so often we don't name what it is that's really preventing us from moving forward.
I love that you share that because in life we will go through things that we don't even want to talk about. We will go through trauma. We'll go through shame. And I want you to know that that is a trick. Somebody say it's a trick. It's a trick to make you dim your light a little lower. It's a trick to make you mute your voice and make it quieter. It's a trick to make you hide away from the world that needs exactly what God put inside of you. Somebody say, I won't believe the trick. In fact, we won't believe the trick so much that today, as you're going through your sessions, we're going to transition shortly into your workshops. There's going to be a box. Nicholas, if you could just hold up our Leave It Behind box. There are some things that you came in carrying that I want you to leave behind today. Some of you came in carrying the traumatic experience when you were molested. And for some reason, you just can't understand why you would be put in that situation when you did nothing wrong. And now you're feeling sad and you're feeling all the things which you are validated in feeling, but it's holding you back from doing what you're meant to do. Some of you are carrying the weight of your parents not being there for you. You're feeling the burden of being abandoned. Why me? Why can't I have my mommy? Why can't I have my daddy? Some of you are carrying that, and I get it. We get it. But today, this space is designed for you, and that's why I want you to really take advantage of our mentors here who are they're going to be vulnerable. They're willing to share their stories with you so that you can get exactly what you came looking for. So thank you for sharing your stories. And on that same route, I'm going to open this up to anyone who wants to take it. You know, sometimes we look at how beautiful each of you are, and we think that you just popped out of your mommy's belly with the stilettos and the makeup and the lashes, and we all know that's not true. So if you would, share with us, what was one of those dark moments that you found yourself facing that you thought, I'm done, I'm through? That now looking back at yourself, you can say, I'm so glad that I didn't stop where the devil wanted me to stop. Please share, and this is open to anyone who feels led to share. Please share that moment with us and more details about what happened.
Sure, I'll share. So about 3 years ago, I was working in corporate full-time, and I knew, like we've all shared, I had a gift, I had a purpose to do more, and entrepreneurship was that route. I would constantly hear God say, you need to go into entrepreneurship, you need to answer the call, you need to answer the call. And I was comfortable working my 8 to 4, banking a salary, calling in sick when I needed to, and I just didn't want to lean into that experience because I knew that it would be uncomfortable. But it kept tagging and tagging and tagging and tugging and tugging and tugging until I just couldn't ignore it anymore, and I answered the call to jump into full-time entrepreneurship. Now, what I didn't realize is in order to serve, we must first be stripped down of everything that we claim to be rebuilt in a way that we're able to serve people. So in those 3 years, I have lost all of my income, I have lost friends, I have lost family, I've had 2 miscarriages. The loss has been intense. And I kept wondering, as I'm losing, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I was obedient. I said yes to the call. I'm here to serve people. I'm here to build my own business. But growth doesn't come in comfort. Growth comes from discomfort. And when you're losing, you may feel like nothing is going right. Why is this happening to me? But you need to be pruned and positioned and prepared for the next step of success. So for me, when I went through that process, I quickly realized that having gone through all of that loss, it weighed me down. And so now I was now in a position where I'm light, I am focused, and I'm ready to step ahead, and opportunities like this have landed in my lap. So when we are going through loss and heaviness and it feels really, really dark, instead of asking, why me? Ask, why not me? Because this is happening for my good. What am I meant to learn in this season? And how do I shift this darkness to create light and to create my magic?
So at about the age of 10, a cousin of mine who I actually looked up to, she looked at me and she told me I would amount to nothing. And as I am talking about it now, it's going back to that little girl Prudence who was hurt. And I don't know if anybody here could relate to that. Somebody who you care about watch you in your face and tell you that you would amount to nothing. And that impacted me. And for years, that was hovering over me. Prudence, you would amount to nothing. And the person went as far as saying, you would have, I don't know if some of y'all might know the term, a string banner children, right, with no husband. So, you know the saying when they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie, because we know words hurt, right? So imagine someone who you thought was your mentor, someone that you looked up to, is telling you that you would amount to nothing and nobody would want you and you would be all alone. But God in his goodness used someone some years later and told me, Prudence, you would be something and you are strong. And I was glad that God allowed that person to tell me that. And interestingly, I always tell people, children go through a lot and they tell nobody about it. Because I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my dad, because if I did, it would have been all hell break loose. But as children, as young women, we go through things that we don't tell anybody about. And I want to remind you today that while we may feel lonely, we are never alone. Because of the God that we serve. He says he will never leave us nor forsake us. And in that moment, he said, Prudence, you needed a reminder. And it was a complete stranger off the street came out to me and tell me, you are strong. He said, you have a strong spirit. And you would be something in life. And again, I want to remind you that you are here for a purpose. And when he told me that, it was like a fire ignited in me. It ignited in me and I got an energy. And I said, you know what? I'm going to channel my energy into studying my work. I'm going to do the best in school. And from there, I started to focus on education. I started to focus on doing things that I loved. So now in looking back, that dark moment, as she would have said, God in his word mentioned that all things work for our good. So in that dark moment, God was able to turn it around for my good. Where today I could share and I could testify that while at a young age somebody could tell you this, know that that is a lie and you are meant for great things. Amen?
So listen, I believe that this room is so rich. And I'm not talking about because, you know, my friend Krisha has a USD bank account, you know. We'll talk about that later. It's rich because true wealth comes from wisdom. And it's only when we go through things, but most importantly, grow through things, that we're able to be so wealthy. And each and every one of you are extremely wealthy. And we thank God for your lives. And we thank God that you are a proof that the God that we serve is real. And so throughout the day, ladies, young ladies, you'll have an opportunity to meet your mentors. Many of you are going to stay back with us a little longer, and you're going to be able to talk with them, interact with their workshops, and really glean from the wisdom that is in this room. So, but before we transition, I would love to open up the floor for a few more questions. And this question, I would like to open the floor for those of you who may have a question for Prudence regarding your life, your purpose, your goals. What are some questions on your mind?
I have a question. Does anybody here have a goal? I think we have a goal, right? One of our goals today was to come here. Yeah? So we have that checked. Any other goal anybody would like to share about? Oh, I'm seeing a hand up.
All right, stand up, young lady. Denison, we have a mic there. All right, let's clap for her as she stands up and prepares her question.
So what's your goal? What's your name first?
My name is Kayla.
Hi, Taylor? Kayla or Taylor?
Kayla.
Kayla, I'm sorry, Kayla.
One of my goal is to become a national athlete in sprinting.
Wow! Excellent. So when you become the national athlete, don't forget the little people, yeah? Remember that you are at Glambition 2025. So when you see us, don't pass us straight.
Yeah.
So why is that goal important to you?
I don't really know. I had a lot of goals which never worked out, and that is a goal I'm good at. So yeah.
Right. Good, thanks for sharing.
Yes, thanks for sharing. In fact, while you respond, I'm going to actually have Kayla come up so that you can present your gift to Kayla. So let's hear for Kayla as she comes up to receive her gift. And you were saying, Prudence?
I was saying Kayla said something important, right? She's good at it. So a tip in setting a goal for yourself is to focus on something that you're good at. Because remember, we all said that your purpose is tied to the things that God placed in you because he knows that you're capable of doing it. So when you're creating a goal for yourself, you're creating it based on what you're good at and not what your friend good at or what your mommy thinks that you're good at, right? So focus on what you are good at. So Kayla, all the best. So this is a copy of my gratitude journal. It's an amazing tool. So every day when you get up, you write what you're grateful for, and it could be just being alive, right? So you write what you're grateful for, and there's a cute pen and a bookmark in here for you. Kayla?
While they're taking their picture, I'm actually going to invite our other mentors to ask a question to the audience, and we'll go along the line. No particular order, just everyone has to ask a question too, and one of you have to respond. That's how we're doing this.
So I'll go next. So how many of you young ladies in the room love dressing? Ooh. So I can't, Lord Father, the eyes. This young lady here, what's her name, honey? Jada? All right, so Jada, you raised your hand. Why do you love dressing? Yes. And she was one of the persons who actually raised her hand when you asked who as a goal. But she was afraid to put it up. Yeah. It's Jada, right? Yes. Okay. So Jada, you look cute in your jeans and, your pink sandals and your little crop top. And so why do you love dressing? Okay, let me ask it another way. How does dressing up make you feel?
It makes me feel good.
Makes you feel good?
Yeah.
What else does it make you feel?
I don't know. I just like the feeling of with the young people that say it aura, something like that.
What do young people say? What do young people say? What do young people say, honey?
Aura.
Oh, the aura. Oh, girl, Lord, I have to learn these. The aura. Okay, so it gives you an aura.
Yeah.
All right. And what else?
I mostly like to bring out the dressing when I'm going to church.
Fantastic, because because you love God, you have to dress up for God. You just don't get dressed up for, All right, thank you, Jada. Who else had up their hand? Who would like to stand up and say why they love dressing or why they love, how dressing makes them feel? And a lot of hands went up. So
Don't be shy.
don't be shy.
And while you are deciding
Come,
on
sweetheart.
answering,
I'm seeing you right there. And she blushing.
Anaya, come, stand up, girl. All right, let's clap for Anaya. That's one of my servant leaders. Why do you like dressing?
I love dressing because I like to look cute and classy.
Cute and classy girl. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it? Okay. So I wouldn't embarrass any more of y'all. But something key to what Jada and Anaya said is that you want to look cute, you want to look good. Because when you dress and you dress up, you look good. And when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, it inspires you to do better. And when you do better, it actually pushes you towards actually being great. Great at who you are, great at what you do, and your image or the way that you present yourself adds to that. And that's why I asked that question, is that because a lot of us like dressing, how many of us actually pushes or be intentional about doing that every time we step out there, every time we go to church, every time we come into a room like this? We always have to be cognizant of the fact that when we are going to dress, we are going to show up. We are going to show up in our best selves. We are going to represent ourselves in the best way possible so that when we start to interact with other like-minded individuals like yourself, or, you know, mentors like who we have up here in this panelist group, you are able to, you know, show a bit of your personality, because your personality shines through into how it is you dress. Right? So thank you, Jada, and thank you, Anaya, for answering the question. And
All
I'll pass
right.
it on to Luria.
Thank you so much, Candace. And actually, not everyone will need to answer a question, so y'all can get off the hot seat right now. I know you're feeling a little heat. However, I would like Jada and Anaya to come up and get a gift. I would like Ella and Candace to present the gifts to these girls, because these are beauty bags. Let's clap for them. Come on. We celebrate our sisters. So stand up, Candace and Ella, and if we could stand in the middle. And while they are taking their shot, come. I would just like to, first of all, thank our panelists. Let's hear it again for our mentors, Dr. Jolander Headley. Come on, let's hear it for her. Y'all can do better than that. Y'all sleepy, hungry, what is it? You all can do better than that. I would also like to thank our next mentor, Krisha Sarah Bowen. I want to make sure I fit all of your beautiful names in there. Let's hear it for her. And please, where can they follow you? Instagram. Okay, so if you all go to our website, girlsofgrace.net, you'll get a link to their pages, because I know y'all want to keep in touch, right? So make sure that you go there. I would like to also thank our mentor, Prudence Williams Laborde. Wait, so they know who you are. Her link is there as well. I would like to also thank Candace Monique Magalore. Come on, I need them claps to be a little louder. Listen, they came for you, they delivered, they showed up, yes. Also, thank you so much, Lyriel Cole-Pierre. Let's hear for our mentor, Lyriel. You all did fantastic. And last but certainly not least, I would like to thank Ella, Daniela Ramfruit for your insight. I got everyone. I look young, but these two children here, they keep me gray, for real. All right, so at this time, I would like for our photographer and pastor, call him Pastor Husband Baby, could you come up and take a picture with me, please, with all of our panelists?
Something good gonna happen in this year, and I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone and a new
Wonderful. So how many of you all really enjoyed yourself so far? I mean, clap. If you really are enjoying this and the vibe is nice and the aura is on point. Did I use it right? I don't know. Then definitely. So next we're going to transition to our workshops. And again, I want this to be a very fun environment for you all. So if you're feeling hungry, you're like, you know, Miss Chantel, the food isn't coming fast enough, whatever. We got little munchies for you all. Panelists, don't go, because we have food for you as well. So right now we're going to transition to our workshops, and we have 4 workshops. We have our Inspire Station that's going to be hosted by none other than Dr. Jolander. Let's hear it for her. Yes. And mind you, everyone's going to have an opportunity to go to each of these stations, but you know where you're going first based off of your name tag. So raise your hand if you have an I on your name badge. All right, so the first station you're going to is Inspire. So you're going to be sitting on the benches. Yes, both rows, and Mr. Lander, you're going to be standing in front of them. Don't move just yet. Nicholas, can you raise your hand? And Joy, raise your hand. They'll be helping you go to each of your stations. So please be respectful to them. Don't give them any trouble. So this is our Inspire Station. Our Shine Station is going to be right here on the stage, and is hosted by none other than the glamorous Ella. All right. So she's going to share with you some best kept beauty secrets. So after you leave Glambition, shh, don't share them with anyone because they are exclusive, okay? So raise your hand if you have an S on your shirt, on your name tag. Right, watch your name tag. So you're going to have your seats right here, and Miss Ella's going to be on stage, and she may call on one of you for each of the sessions to do some things with her. All right. Once you have your Shine Station, then we have our Glow Station. Our Glow Station is with Miss Candace, who will be talking about looking good and feeling good. I'm excited for that one. So if you have a G on your name badge, raise your hand if you have a G on your name badge. Wonderful. So you'll be turning your seats toward this door, and Miss Candace will lead you in that workshop. Our next station is our Let's Talk. So this is pretty cool because my friend April, everybody say hi, April. Hi, April. So she's going to be working with our photography team with Stefan and Varsha. So there will be, all of you are going to go to these workshops. So don't be like, oh, I want to go there. No, you're going to be transitioning every 30 minutes. So, but those of you who are in the Let's Talk station, what do they have on their badge? All right. So you have S, you have G, you have Rise, you have a R. Yes, so that is our Rise station. Raise your hand if you have an R on your badge. Wonderful. So your first stop will be with Miss April. She's going to take you there, and you're going to sit down and have some really interactive discussions because we want to talk, right? And then as April leads the discussion, 1 or 2 of you are going to get your pictures taken. How many of you like pictures? Who hates pictures? Raise your hand. Oh, yeah, you're going to be first. You're going to be first. You're going to be first. All right. So everybody got it? You got the groove? All right. So let us give our mentors their full attention. And as they go and lead their stations, let's just clap for them again, please. Wonderful. So girls, you can stand up. We're going to be moving these chairs out. Not all. So go just gather in a group based on where your name tag is. If you have a G, go to Glow. If you have an I, sit on the bleachers. If you have an R, Miss April, raise your hand. If you have an R, she'll be leading you into that station.